Go.
Yeah, you tuned in to DO Radio.
In the mix.
Play that loud, you already know.
Good evening. Thanks for inviting us to your house for dinner. This is Political Paula. I'm here with my partner in politics, Dead Air Dwayne, otherwise known as Dwayne Christ. We want to welcome you to our new format tonight. Starting tonight, we will be coming to you every Tuesday from 6 to 7 on DL Radio, your favorite homegrown station powered by LoudNationWildlife.com. I want to thank you all for tuning in and for your support for last week's show. Now, I want to tell you how to find us when you're looking for us. We need your help. If you enjoy our show, we need to hear from you. We'll be reading your comments and future show suggestions and sharing them on the show. This is your chance to make this show about what you want to hear and discuss. You can contact us at Twitter, @PoliticalPaula, on Facebook, facebook.com/PoliticalPaula, and of course on YouTube, DL Radio. All radio shows will be shared on these pages, and I really want you guys to tune in, comment, and share your stuff with us. We got some great comments from last week's show. We'll be sharing them a little later. So let's get started. Dwayne, how was your weekend, buddy?
Excellent, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Snowmageddon, not a problem for you?
Not a problem at all.
You know what always made me smile this weekend was I heard from all my friends down in Florida calling me from the beach saying, "How you doing?" Funny, they don't call me when it's sunny here and 77 at Christmas, but they all called to see how we were doing while I hear the beach air coming toward them. So much fun. And then someone out in California actually posted, "Oh, I wish we had snow like that. It looks so pretty." I'm like, seriously pretty? Why don't you get a plane ticket, come on out here, I'll give you a couple shovels, you can come out and shovel it, because my neighborhood is buried in Lancaster City. Our snow plows, for some reason, were not working as they should be.
We didn't have that problem in Township.
So tell us about your neighborhood, tell us.
Yeah, and you want to know something? Lancaster City right now is keeping my child out of school.
Explain.
Because the northern side of Lancaster City is part of Township, and Township buses have to come over through there and through the city to pick up the kids to take them to Township. And
wow.
The laziness of the city, and we pay high taxes over where I live, and for
so
good
do
reason.
We in the city.
But for good,
so do we in the
for
city.
good reason. Look, I don't have any problems with the taxes I pay to my local government, because they take care of the roads where I'm at. As soon as the storm was over, the roads were cleared. 222 to bypass 30, it was all cleared. It was all good to go. And if you had four-wheel drive and you could get out of your parking lot, you were good to go too.
Well, the funny thing is we live in Pennsylvania, and it kind of always shocks me that we are surprised when it's January and it snows. And you know, this was historic, so to speak, but last year, even in 8-inch snowstorms, we in the city were still suffering through the same stuff we're suffering through right now with the plows not getting to the streets. Now, people say, okay, you're complaining, what's your solution? Well, I actually do have one solution. When I was young, we didn't have street cleaning from November to April because there was nothing to clean, and there still isn't. The leaves are off the trees, there's no leaves on the ground. Stop street cleaning from November to April and bank that money that you spend on cleaning streets that are clean and save it for snow days so that people can get up and about. And there's another issue, is the government is basically saying stay home, don't go to work, we're shutting down government offices. Well, the government workers are getting paid to stay home. The citizens, the taxpayers on North Mary Street near my house, they can't get to work, and guess what? They're not getting paid. The school bus drivers are not getting paid because the schools are closed.
Right,
the
but
teachers
that's not the
bus
state's
drivers
that's not the state's
well,
fault.
They're the city.
It's our local government's fault. It's the city's
But
fault.
it starts with the state government. The state government allocates money to the cities for
But
snow
and
removal.
and
don't
and,
they?
and unless the city uses the money properly, they won't get the money allocated to them anymore.
Well, here's the other problem. And you're saying the kids are off school. Guess what? The first businesses that opened were on Sunday. Park City and the Rockville outlets, shopping malls. I mean, really? Is this what we want? We want people on the roads driving to go buy clothes? If anything, necessity stores should have been the first businesses open. Leave the shopping malls closed. It's not like the kids off school should be going to the mall, because guess what? If it's not safe to go to school, not safe to go to the mall either. In fact, the kids should be out there with their shovels, helping their neighborhood dig out, helping their elderly neighbors dig out. Make some money on a snow day. Don't sit home playing video games. Don't go to the mall with your girlfriend. That's not what a snow day is. It ain't vacation. It's an emergency, and you need to be part of the solution and not part of the problem by being out on those roads. And God forbid some of these new drivers, these teenagers who just got their driver's licenses, are saying, ooh, mall's open, no school, car dugout, I should go to the mall with my friends. Not a good idea. You know what needs to be open? The first thing that needs to be open is grocery stores, and of course, in my humble opinion, liquor stores. But only if you can walk safely to the liquor store. I mean, it's a necessity when you're snowed in with some people for days and days on end. Just a little funny. But seriously, to expect employees of the malls to get to work and then to really think that, oh, I got 36 inches of snow to shovel, let me go out and buy a new dress. Is that really needed? Or just keep everything closed 48 hours and let the snow plows actually do their job, and uninhibited by other cars on the road.
Right. Well, I think what they need to do here in town is they have all these parking towers. So what they need to do is they need to organize, whether they do it with the city bus or whatever, they organize. And they go block to block, and they pick the people. They make the people go down to the bus, down to the parking tower, and park their cars, and then they bus them back. And there's nothing going on. It's a snow emergency. Put the cars in the parking tower for the night, and let the streets get cleaned properly. That just doesn't happen, and you do that before it starts snowing, before you have to dig your ass out, before, and then you got all these people sitting around. Oh, I'm snowed in. I'm snowed. Grab a fucking shovel.
Oh, I agree with you on that too. My husband was out at 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. Not one neighbor in sight on our street. They didn't come out till like 11 a.m.
And that's the city.
And then they were like, "How did you get your car shoveled out?" Because when at 8 o'clock, when my husband was out, a lovely man from 2 blocks down was walking. He said, "Do you need help shoveling out your car? You throw me a few bucks, I'll help you." For 2 hours, that man, who does not live in our neighborhood, helped my husband shovel our car out for an emergency.
Right.
And my husband gave him money. He did. But all the neighbors came out and said, "Oh, how'd you get your car shoveled out?" He said, "Well, this guy walked by and said, oh, didn't you tell him we needed our car shoveled out too?" My husband said, "Where were you at 8 o'clock?"
Exactly.
You know, you
It
want
starts
your
with a
car,
mindset.
You get up, and you know, I did notice this time, in '96 when we had the blizzard, this was before I met my husband, the neighbors, what we did was we gathered together, 5, 6 neighbors, we shoveled my car out, then we shoveled the next car out, we all gathered together. This time was different. It was like every man for himself. And it was like people were shoveling their own cars, but then they didn't care to help anybody else.
Right.
And I found that now in your area, did your neighbors help you out? 'Cause
Oh,
you
most
see
definitely.
On the news,
In
all these neighborhoods getting together. When you have 12 people shoveling out one car, it takes so much less time.
Our whole neighborhood got together. You walked outside, and it was 50 people out there with shovels.
See, and that we did not have this year. It was like I said, every man for himself. And now we have, by the way, if anybody wants some free furniture, because it is illegal to mark your spaces with furniture, you PM me on Facebook, and I will give you the address where you can come and get some free furniture. Because I'm going to tell you what. I think it is so rude to expect that because you shovel one space that nobody else, the people that also shoveled spaces out, should come home, because people are going to take our spaces. We live on a public street. We don't own the street, and you don't own that parking space. And just saying. And the parking lots across the street from us, the church parking lot, and Snavely Lumberyard, Abacus, you know what? Stop threatening to tow your neighbors, because be a good community neighbor. And stop saying, well, you got to go buy a drink at one of our restaurants to park in our parking lot. Even if that parking lot would let everyone on my street park there for one day, I guarantee you we have enough people that we could get somebody to get together and bring a snowplow and plow curb to curb, and our street would be cleared. One day, let us park.
It all starts with a mindset.
But it's not community. Nobody wants to be a good neighbor anymore, and that's really sad. And I also want to bring in, we've got a guest, our first live guest, and this is Nadi. And Nadi, by the way, does The Plug Fridays at 3 p.m. right here on DL Radio. It's hosted by Izzy and Nadi, and she's here, and she is also a city resident. So let's bring you in here, Nadi. How's your neighborhood faring in this wonderful, beautiful winter weather we're having?
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you both, guys. My neighborhood, I have to say, I'm very proud of. Yesterday, I came home from taking my mom to the doctors and all, and I found all my neighbors on my block out on the street shoveling. And there was a private contractor, I guess the city hired private people to come with the
Snow
construction.
The plows.
Yeah, the construction plows, yeah. So there are private contractors out there doing it. And one was in our neighborhood. So all the neighbors were shoveling each other out, you know. And so I grabbed my shovel and I went to work with them, because there's no way I could do that. Watching all my neighbors out there together, 50 years old, 60 years old, then there was like a 12-year-old, you know, and they're all out there. So I grabbed mine and we shoveled people out, and we helped the plow guy to be able to get all the snow up out of our neighborhood. Let me tell you, it was 11 o'clock at night and he was still out there.
Wow. And see, that makes a big difference now, and your street is passable.
It's passable. It hadn't been. The only problem now would be the alley. And that's because, like, on our block, we're right behind the Rainmakers. So in our block, you know, the homes have garages. And so, you know, for us, we're parked in the garage, but when we come, you can't come out of the garage. The alley's all, you know. Now, here's what happened on my block. According to, you know, the talk, there were 3 guys who were out the night before. So I guess this would have been Sunday night. And they were out till past midnight shoveling the alley. And they got like a quarter part of the alley, top part of the alley done. And the bottom half of the alley is done. But the center of the alley where we are is not done. And it's just like however many feet. So you open up the garage and you can't get out. But there were 3 guys who were up till, you know, way past midnight shoveling the alley. Do you know how much work that was?
Yeah,
Yes,
but that's the problem. There's only 3 guys. How many people are in your neighborhood? How many people on that street?
No, she said there were like 50 people out, though, on Sunday.
Well, not about 50,
Well,
but all the neighbors
came out.
Yeah, all the neighbors came out Sunday shoveling for each other. They shoveled the whole block. And there was a private contractor guy with the plow. And we were shoveling all the snow from off the sidewalks, from around the cars, into the middle of the street for him to collect it and take it back up.
Well,
to the
and
truck.
that brings up a good point, too, because this is something that if you are in Lancaster City, please don't do this. Because, again, my husband got his car dug out for money. He paid somebody. Now, again, we were happy to do it because the guy volunteered, and he doesn't even live in our neighborhood. He was just walking around saying, hey, do you need some help? The people in front of my husband decided they wanted to dig their car out, and you know what they did? They ended up throwing it back into the street. They were so in a hurry, I got to get to work, and they were throwing the snow into the street, and I went out, I said, dude, you know, you understand that tonight that snow is going, the plows are going to come through because we are on a street where the buses come, so they're going to plow this street. Our street gets plowed by the city, and they're going to dig you back in, and you're going to have to get up tomorrow morning and dig yourself back out. And they said, well, where are we going to put it? Well, you know where my husband put it? He and this guy, there was one empty space across the street. No cars. They actually shoveled, walked the snow across the street. It was hard work,
Mm-hmm.
but it was on that pile.
Mm-hmm.
Lo and behold, the next morning, this woman almost blew her engine because the plows came in. She had, where she had shoveled, she threw, and they put the snow right back around her car, and she almost blew her engine trying to rev through that snow. Please, if you are trying to clear your roads, dig your cars out. I know it's frustrating, but do not put the snow into the street. It doesn't help anybody, and it can cause some very serious hazards. Because then what happened is people are coming down our street, all of a sudden they see this pile, they swerve, and they're in the other lane. And it's very dangerous. So just know we're all in this together. Bottom line, you know, I know Chris Christie made a comment today about what do you want me to do, pick up a mop. It would be nice to see some of our politicians, federal officials out here helping us out. But be a good neighbor, be a good citizen, be a good Christian, as Dwayne was talking about last week. You know, just help somebody out just because. And we are all in this together. It's an inconvenience. We aren't in Wildwood, New Jersey, thank God. Those people are, their streets are rivers right now. And some of them still have no power. We have power, we have heat in our homes, we got food in the refrigerator, we have grocery stores we can go to. So let's be grateful for what we have, and just remember, it's an inconvenience, it's going to go away someday, and then, but again, just make relationships with your neighbors now, and don't make this into something that's a neighborhood fight or who did what or who took whose space. Everybody stick together, and you know, that's my thought.
I agree with you, and I think it's very important what you said too. You know, here now it's a shame that not all communities may have shared in this process like some of ours have. But I did mention that yesterday when I was out there with my neighbors, that, you know, it would be nice to see one of the our public figures whom we pay for out there joining us, going to our neighbors. We vote them in, so why don't they come from neighborhood to neighborhood and show some labor? They are public servants, so they should be out serving the public, picking up a shovel and helping, you know, one of these communities. That would have been something nice to see on the news, whether it was our governor, whether it was our mayor, whether it was the city council. Hint, hint.
Well, yeah, or you know what's interesting too is my husband saw the WGAL news reporter vans going around, and they took lots of pictures. But you know what Jeff Rawson on the Today Show did?
What?
He actually took a crew to remind people who don't clean the tops of their cars off how dangerous it is. He took a crew out, news people, with shovels and brooms, and he stopped people who had not cleaned the top of their cars off and said, do you know how dangerous this is when you're driving? You could hurt somebody. He said, you know, and the one guy said, well, I didn't put it there, and, you know, he said, you know what, we're going to clean the top, and they cleaned the top of all these people's cars off for them. How about our news reporters that were, you know, running around the city in their cars? You know, they got around. How about stopping when they see neighbors in trouble? Because this is their community. They say, we serve you, we report on you. How about stopping and have some shovels in the back of the WGAL van or any of the other news channels and say, you know what, why don't we become part of the story? Like, we're part of your community.
Exactly.
We live here, we love Lancaster. Get up and help us shovel out.
Well, speaking
Dwayne has a comment.
That's not their agenda.
But wouldn't it be an awesome news story to see Tim Lemon or Ron Martin or somebody out there shoveling, helping neighbors shovel snow?
The agenda is just completely to oppress. That's the agenda. Everybody.
Oh, I don't know about that.
No,
I mean,
I'm going to chime in on that.
Stories.
Yes, they do. And especially with Lancaster newspaper this weekend and the report that they did on those women who were thrown out of the YWCA winter shelter.
Oh, well.
And the report that they did on that was so slanted and so biased and criminalized these women for being homeless. Now, let me tell you. I think it was just to save face for the YWCA and for the city, and that the Lancaster newspaper reported in the slanted way that they did. They gave the story favor to the executive director of that program, who claimed that, you know, they had been working on this evacuation process for a week before the storm. Well, with the Water Street Rescue Mission and other places. And with that being said, then the question's asked, well, why were there women left over in this shelter if they had made arrangements for them to go elsewhere? Well, if the Water Street Rescue Mission was filled, that the women didn't have any place else to go or couldn't go, then they were left stuck at the YWCA. And from what I read from the story, that's what I picked up from it. If I'm wrong, and anyone's listening who are any one of these women that were left there, please call in or
I would
send us a
love
message
to
and let
actually
us know.
speak to one of those women.
Yes,
So if
yes.
they contact you, I would like to have them on the show next week. I did not hear about this, but
So they were.
if they were actually thrown out,
I heard that they were all offered a place to go, but they refused.
And I don't think that, and that just doesn't sound
well, then
logical
why don't
at
we
all.
put it out here? We're
Because
going
if
to have,
they knew
we're
that
getting
the
ready for a
YW
hard break, but why don't we put this out here for people listening? And I will actually put it on my Facebook page tomorrow, that if anybody knows who these women are or knows of their story, I would certainly love to speak with them and actually maybe have them on the show next week.
Absolutely, because who in their right
Yeah.
mind, knowing that they're going to
Nobody
be
would send
evacuated
people
from
out
the
into
winter
the-
shelter with
No.
babies and stuff and not take their only way out? So that doesn't make sense. What makes sense, and knowing how these places operate, is the Water Street Rescue Mission saying, we've reached our capacity, we don't have room for anyone more. So then these women were left there with no place to go. The executive director at the shelter saying, listen, you guys got to go anyway, because I'm pulling all staff from here. We tried to assist. We have the police to take you anywhere you need to go, but you can't stay
If you
here.
don't have any place to go, though,
exactly.
where were the police going to
the
take
girls
them?
couldn't leave, the women couldn't leave, so guess
Okay.
what? The police still had to come and evacuate them from the building anyway, because the building was going to be inoperable. So the police had to come and evacuate them anyway, and that's what the women said. Not that they had any place to take them, but that they had to take them out of there. Now, since they were only a stone's throw away from the Water Street Rescue Mission, if there was availability and occupancy, I'm sure those women with the babies would have certainly gone there instead of complaining on Facebook that they were thrown out with no place to go.
Well, the bottom line is, in a situation such as we suffered in Lancaster this past weekend, there is no reason why anybody should be thrown out of a warm shelter for any reason. So we will research this. We do have to take a hard break. That's what I'm being told. Are we taking a break? All right, we're going to take a quick break. We want to thank our sponsors, Artistic Expressions, Arabian Nights, and, of course, the Federal Tap House. Now, remember, February 13th, big night here in Lancaster at the AmVets 715 Fairview Avenue. Tickets are on sale. You need to go to 717dlradio@gmail.com. This is going to be an amazing night of comedy, music. We have Rob McCoy, we have Kent Thomas, Tori C, Significant, and our headliners, well, Rob McCoy and Chris GQ Perry. Now, one lucky lady, I swear if I weren't married, I would be getting in on this. I've talked to Chris GQ Perry, he's a sweetie. One lucky lady is going to get a romantic dinner on February 14th, a special Valentine's at the Federal Tap House. Beautiful Lancaster City restaurant. We have a special table reserved for Chris and his lucky lady. So you single ladies out there, you need to come on out. So get your tickets. Again, 717dlradio@gmail.com for more information. Plus, you can check out our Facebook pages as well. Now.
They only kill us cause they fear us. What's the difference from being observant and a conspiracy theorist? Connotations created so they don't have to hear us. Created economic divide to ensure they ain't near us. 1965 didn't affirm any action. If you ask me, that was the biggest distraction. They teach us laws of the land, but not laws of attraction. But somehow we've managed to perceive satisfaction from psychological retraction to racial extraction by the most racist faction. How could this happen with no real reaction? To say we're still enslaved is a factual abstraction. They saw holes in their plot, they acknowledged they was slacking. They knew we wouldn't settle, so they had to let the black in more, like let us back in. I think they fit the movement as much as they fit the black men. And if it's truly progress, then how did we manage back in the same predicaments of the past? We've endured it for years, now we're here at last. You can turn the other cheek and grab your burning blast. Since they took off their hoods, I ain't wearing a mask. Oppressors wanna oppress us, but that's just where we can trash. 400 years ahead of us and they still yet to surpass our capabilities as beings, cause the alchemy's vast. Now they label us terrorists cause they see we've amassed. Despite the fact we're harassed, the difference is we getting shots to the slash. We protest a peaceful manners and we still get the gas. If you ask me, I see the terrorists in your camp. Many see this as hate, it's just a visionary's rant. They only kill us cause they fear us. That's why. What's the difference from being observant and a conspiracy theorist? Connotations created so they don't have to hear us. Created economic divide to ensure they ain't near us. They only kill us cause they fear us. That's why. What's the difference from being observant and a conspiracy theorist? The connotations created so they don't have to hear us. Created economic divide to ensure they ain't near us. We hear the forms of oppression used and expressed when a child's worth determined by a standardized test. With a language known by few while undermining the rest. The importance of our social class is never addressed. Since they can't understand it, they'll just dress to impress. With their future on the line, they'll just guess as they stress. The deception causes special ed, it ain't cause they blessed. This the education system when you black and oppressed. The only goal that they have is subject to arrest. We make requests for freedom when we should've had it possessed. That's why riding and looting's how we're forced to express. If it ain't time for revolution, then what you suggest? They taking money from schools and putting them in the prisons. Manufacturing conditions, trying to kill our ambitions while ignoring inquisition and giving no recognition. We're bringing it to the light like this is the deposition.
This is why America separated from England. The tyranny of King George was too much for them to bear. So what did they do? They decided death is better. So it was Patrick Henry that said, give me liberty or give me death.
They only kill us cause they fear us. What's the difference from being observant and a conspiracy theorist? Connotations created so they don't have to hear us. Created economic divide to ensure they ain't near us.
Shorty hit me up and said, can we do this shit? She told me, nigga, stop playing hard to get. I'm not playing hard to get. Just wanna see where your mind is at and how bad you really want it in. If you want it, girl, I got it, say. You already know I'm about to say. Let me jump up in the shower, girl, I need is about an hour. Come on, girl, and now make it say. Girl, I got it, say. You already know I'm about to say. Let me jump up in the shower. All I need is about an hour. Come over and I'll make you say. Shorty's looking like $1 million. And she's been ready to give it up. She said, ooh, you sing, nigga, that's what's up. But can you make me hit some notes for ya? Did you forget who you was talking to? To receive the name and I'm a pro, baby, that's what I do. The way I put this D on you will have you talking to your girls delirious like my ex who. So stop messing with all them lanes. Girl, I ain't even gotta say no name. When you're with me, ain't gonna be no games. You're the perfect picture, and I'ma beat it right out the frame. If you're with it, come get it. Shorty, don't try to slow down. Going back now, way back now. I won't back down. Make it clap now. Come and get this D I'm giving. So go ahead, girl, admit it. You're loving all these words you hear me say. If you want it, girl, I gotta say. You already know I'm about to say. Let me jump up in the shower. All I need is about an hour. You can come over and I'll make you say. If you want it, girl, I gotta say. You already know I'm about to say. Shower, all I need is about an hour. You can come over and I'll make you say, yeah, baby, keep it wet for me. We can call this thing sex therapy. This is my specialty, better yet my guarantee. Lay back on the couch and tell the doctor everything you need. Can't you see when it comes to sex, baby, I'm a new breed. So you can take it slow and let me bring your body up to speed. From the bed to the shower to the kitchen floor, to the backseat of the car, baby, let's explore. Every single fantasy, I can show you ecstasy. By the end of the night, you won't have any discrepancy. My aim is only to please. This is my damn expertise. Everything that you need, you can find in me. Freak shit, long tongue, baby, I'm a tease. I'ma write my name all on that shit. Have you screaming, heaving, broad day. Have you in the bed losing your grip? About to have it losing it. I can tell from the way that you bite your lip. If you want it, girl, I gotta say. You already know I'm about to say. Let me jump up in the shower. All I need is about an hour. You can come over and I'll make you say. If you want it, girl, I gotta say. You already know I'm about to say. All I need is about an hour. You can come over and I'll make you say. And I'll make you say. And I'll make you say. And I'll make you say.
And we're back. Now listen, if you enjoyed that music you were just listening to, remember, just because Political Paula and Dead Air Dwayne aren't here every day, DL Radio is on every day. So tune in because they have lots of great shows. Don't forget that on Friday nights at 8, Venom Flow is on, and that's always a good time. So anyway, let's get back to the really fun part of last week. Oh, and the plug-in Fridays at 3 with good old Naughty, who is sticking with us for the rest of the show to weigh in on some of our hot topics. So, Dwayne and Naughty, I swear, you know, just when you thought it couldn't get any more fun, Sarah Palin really is endorsing Donald Trump. And it just got better because 2 weeks ago, she blamed President Obama for her daughter getting pregnant twice without husbands. Well, it got, you know, just when you thought that was bizarre, since President Obama made it possible for every woman in America to obtain birth control, well, now her son, her oldest son, I think his name's Track, he got into a little bit of trouble out in Alaska. He, like, beat up his girlfriend and was drunk and throwing a gun around. Maybe he thought he saw a moose. I don't know. But somehow that is also President Obama's fault.
Blame it on the black man.
You know, Naughty, I'm almost thinking that's what she's saying. Because when her son, first of all, if you remember when Sarah Palin was running for vice president, this is why this woman is so, she's so cute and so funny and so sweet and she's pretty to look at. But when she opens her mouth, she's so disingenuous and hypocritical. When John McCain, do we remember why John McCain tapped her as vice president? No. Because she was more pro-life than anybody, because she had a disabled child knowing it was going to be disabled. Bring in the pro-lifer, because John McCain wasn't pro-life enough for the Republican evangelicals.
Actually, I think John McCain did that because he
wanted a Democrat to run with him to be the first.
He wanted somebody with enthusiasm.
Oh, he wanted someone with a Bible who spoke in tongues. Give me a break.
No, he wanted somebody else who had a living heart, a beating heart, because that is practically dead.
Well, that's why my husband didn't vote for him. My long-term Republican husband said, I don't want that woman a heart attack away from the nukes, because she's going to be calling home, check on her 5 kids. She's going to hit the nuke button by mistake, and we're at war. Bottom line, to get back to this thing. So you remember back when she was running for vice president, how she stood on that podium when her son volunteered to join the military under his commander-in-chief, George W. Bush? Not President Barack Obama, not Senator Barack Obama. He joined when Bush was president. And how, oh, my son is serving our country. I'm so proud. You betcha. My son is out there. Now, he served 1 year in Iraq, came home, safe and sound with all his fingers and toes, and, you know, doesn't have erectile dysfunction that we know of because he's got a girlfriend. All of a sudden, he has an issue, and it's Barack Obama's fault because he has PTSD. Now, PTSD is a very serious situation, but
every black person in America has PTSD.
This is not, though, about PTSD, because Sarah Palin has insurance. Sarah Palin's son cannot claim that he doesn't have health care where he can get help for his PTSD while she stands on that podium and says, where is the help for my son? You know where the help is? The same place where your daughter, who had a baby out of wedlock at 17, ended up on Dancing with the Stars and having her own reality show and writing a book telling women how hard it is to have a baby and be a single mom, and then went 2 years later and did the same damn thing again. Thank you.
So you,
Dwayne and Natty, go ahead.
So you agree with our government sending our children into situations that totally
well, first, they're not sending them. We have a volunteer military, Dwayne. Nobody, there's no draft here. Nobody is saying you must go and fight. If you don't agree with what you're fighting for, don't volunteer. It's a volunteer military.
Well, it certainly is, but the thing is that there should be some checks and balances with the way the military operates.
There's supposed to be checks and balances.
Well, of course, and we should be taking care of them when they come home, and they are injured. We should be taking care of them, and there should be more availability of veterans benefits, and benefits like some men came home from the military and they lost their houses. That should never happen.
Okay, so why didn't he go to the VA and get medications for his PTSD? That does
well,
not
the thing is for
justify
a
Try to go to-
Palin to blame Obama
Yes,
for
we
her
know she's
son's
ridiculous.
illness or lack of help. Sarah Palin, again, this is like, and again, this is, we're going to discuss this later, but this is like Jada Pinkett Smith saying that her husband not being nominated for an Oscar is racism.
Yes.
Where Sarah Palin is saying the same thing. You know, her son does have help available. So it's like me saying, oh, I'm a wealthy person, my son has cancer, let me go on GoFundMe on Facebook and get medication money when I have $200 million in the bank, but I don't want to spend it on medication.
Do you know anybody personally that has to deal with the VA? Because I do. And let me tell you something. It's not pretty. And it's months of waiting. And shit doesn't get taken care of.
You're missing my point. Sarah Palin's son does not have to deal with the VA. They can get private help for him.
He should not have to. The insurance company should not be burdened with something that's caused by our military. The government should take care of that. The insurance company shouldn't be burdened with that, because then every other American who has to have insurance has to pay for that. The government needs to pay for it, not the insurance companies.
Well, you're getting into a point that I don't agree on this specific of that, but I do agree that, first of all, we shouldn't have insurance companies in this country, and we should be like England and every other free nation in the world. And when you're born in this country, you get a card that says, guess what? You have health care for everything.
Right, and so Palin, whatever you want to call her, her remarks are against that type of stuff. Her remarks are against the insurance companies.
I just wish that Sarah Palin would, for one time, get in front of a podium and stop blaming everybody else for the failures that happened in her life. Because you know what? It is not the President of the United States' fault that your daughter didn't take to your abstinence teachings in your home, that your daughter went out and got pregnant. That's not
your daughter's
President.
A hoe, Palin. Your daughter's a hoe.
Okay, I didn't say, but yeah, that's what I basically.
Daughter's a hoe.
Basically,
gets paid for being a hoe.
Your daughter decided that every man she met, she would get pregnant to, get engaged to, and then cancel the wedding at the last minute. She's done it twice. It's a pattern. Once is a mistake. Twice is a pattern. It's a career choice.
Maybe she's suffering PTSD.
Maybe from being Sarah Palin's daughter, or too much moose. I don't know.
It's seeing all them. Seeing Russia.
You know what's funny?
Sarah Palin says that her son, who has Down syndrome, and Down syndrome kids, don't tweet me, don't yell at me, because I'm gonna do a whoopee here, because I don't care. I'm not saying Down syndrome kids are the best, most lovely. They always have a smile on their face. But look, she says he's a gift from God. He's a perfect child. Well, Bristol, not so perfect. So, but my grandchildren are a gift from God. Now, all of a sudden, those little gifts from God are President Obama's fault. Well, if those grandchildren were a gift from God, thank you, President Obama. We have two little beautiful little Palin grandchildren. Yeah, they don't have daddies, but you know what? Join the rest of the world. That's all I'm saying.
Hasn't her 15 minutes of fame kind of expired already? Why are we still talking about Sarah Palin?
I agree so much because she keeps getting herself involved in everything. Fox News fired her. If you get fired from Fox News, you know that's bad.
You know what? When I heard about Donald Trump making an announcement regarding Sarah Palin, I just thought he was going to put her as his vice president.
That ain't never going to happen.
Don't say never.
Oh, wait.
Trust me, I know that's not going to happen.
Please, God, let him do it, because guess what that means? It's going to be Hillary or Bernie or now Bloomberg, but it won't be Trump. God.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
No man in his right mind would have Sarah Palin as his vice president.
I know we discussed this earlier, not to bring it up, but since it's out here, what if there's not a possibility of another president to be had?
Yeah, you mentioned that in the warm-up. What do you mean?
Okay, so there's a lot of people out here saying things, from sources you wouldn't expect and after I saw President Obama's executive orders for the National Defense Authorization Act and all that already clued me in to that there's not going to be another president after Barack Obama. Then you had Pope Francis turn around and say the same thing this past few months when he was here touring. And then right for the New Year's, the Queen Elizabeth turned around in her address to her countrymen, said the same thing, that there's not going to be another president after Obama, which could account for why these figureheads we have up here, these talking bubbleheads up here as candidates, they're not real, they're not formidable people to take on this position, but it's a show, it's a theatrical show for the sleeping sheeple. If, for example, we had another major snow apocalypse or any other major disaster, or let's say a bomb dropped, or any reason that they have to call for a national martial law, especially right before the elections. I would speculate it will be right before the new elections. Once we go into martial law and he claims permanent martial law, there's not going to be another president.
Who would be running the country?
The standing president in office.
So Obama?
Yes.
Wow.
And his executive orders, when you look back at the H.R. 347, when you look at the House Resolution 347, the National Defense Authorization Act and all, when he calls for that martial law, everything is shut down completely. That means the government has access over every resource, air, land, water, food, everything. Once
Go for
there's
it,
a
Dwayne.
national martial law, there's no more elections.
As long as we have our Second Amendment,
Oh boy.
that is not going to happen, I promise you.
Well, some would argue that we have been in a state of martial law since World War I or World War II. That this country has always been under maritime law, which is what you go under once a martial law is declared. And that the laws that we have been governed by is not the civil law. It is maritime law. So the argument's been out there for decades now that this country has been under maritime martial law since the previous world wars. I'm just saying. Anyone want to comment about it? Anyone want to speculate or add more into this that's more knowledgeable?
Dwayne, yeah, please do. This is really an interesting topic, and I have to admit I don't know a lot about it. But Dwayne, you sort of touched on this last week when I accused you of being the master of doom and gloom. You did say that there could come a time in this country where we will be at civil war with one another, Americans against Americans again.
But it's not going to be that. Listen, if something like what she's talking about happens, it's going to be under what I was talking about last week. That we're going to be under attack.
Well, for listeners who didn't hear last week, would you just rephrase just quickly what you said? Basically, Muslims, Christians,
Islam.
Right.
Islam.
Islam, fanatical Islam, not peaceful Muslims. The bad guys.
I'm not saying Muslims.
Right, the bad guys.
Islam.
Yeah. Let's just make sure that we're not bashing
Islam.
Okay,
the entire Islamic religion.
First of all, Islam, the word Islam in itself means peace.
Right.
So you can't take something that means peace and make it a war thing or make it an aggressive.
But there are people, wouldn't you
so now,
so now, a warmongering.
Well, in the name,
no.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Whoa, wait. Dwayne doesn't like that, but
that's not.
Maddie,
but you're absolutely right. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Religion in general can cause wars and can cause violence when people take religion the wrong way.
Wait. Religion can't cause wars any more than
Wrong. And now let me explain how.
Behind the religion and their perspectives that they bring to that religion that can cause war in the name of their religion. Just like it's the hand behind the gun that shoots the person. So for those who say guns don't kill people, people kill people, religion doesn't kill people. People kill the religion and kill other people in the name of that religion.
That's true. I agree.
Okay,
Dwayne,
so now
I think it's 2 against 1 on this.
That's quite all right. That's quite all right because let me explain to you.
He's very well spoken on this, by the way.
You have Christians, and you have Islamic fundamentalists.
You have Christian fundamentalists.
Now, hold on.
You do.
You have Jewish fundamentalists.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Because if you're not gonna listen, let me say something.
We're starting to sound like
if you're not gonna listen to me to understand what I have to say.
Dwayne, your turn. Talk.
If you're not going to listen to understand what I have to say, and you're going to listen to respond, and you're going to miss my point.
I'm listening. I don't miss points too easily, but I'm listening.
Okay. So now we got you got your Islamic fundamentalists, okay, and you got your Christian fundamentalists, okay. Let's start that way, so that way you don't get offended with what I'm saying. All right. Okay.
We're all friends.
We got these 2 groups of people. One of those groups of people are totally here to take over the world. They want to take over the world. The other group doesn't. The other group doesn't want to take over the world. They just want to. They got their sick ideologies, but it's not about taking over the world.
Okay, which group is not taking over the world?
Christians.
The Christian group.
I would highly disagree with that because it's the Christians who are in every part of this world sending missionaries out to convert
but they're not there.
them.
They're not there threatening to cut people's heads off. If I come to you and I say I know Jesus Christ and you should know him too, and I wait, let me finish. And I say to you, I know Jesus Christ. You should know him too. and you tell me, you know what, Dwayne, you're fucking crazy, and I don't want nothing to do with you. Please be on your way. I'm going to say, okay, you have a good day, but I'm not going to force you to know my God. I'm not going to force you or threaten to cut your head off.
Let me jump in 1 second, though, because I think this is what Nadi's trying to say to a point is, no, you won't do that, but you will go to the polls and you will try to vote for somebody who is going to force us through the government with pro-life, anti-gay rights. You're going to try to get the politicians to force Nadi.
I am trying to wake up. I am trying. No,
all these
listen. You want to know? You want to know the truth?
Let's defund Planned Parenthood.
No, you want to know the truth? You want to know the truth?
Oh, stop.
Man, your insurance company pays for that.
Some women don't have insurance.
Well, then
Dwayne.
Again, they have and those that don't have insurance, have the damn chip card. They have all those other
bullshit.
No, it's not bullshit.
I call bullshit. Some employers,
it's not bullshit.
Holly Lobby, Conestoga Wood, right here in our own community, are refusing to allow their female employees to access birth control through the company health insurance. Where are those women supposed to go when they don't want babies? Oh, I forgot.
Then they go down to 625 South.
If you're a Christian, you're not supposed to use birth control because you're supposed to have babies every year.
Or do you want an answer? They go down. They go down to 625 South Duke Street and they get their birth control pills there. They're available.
What are you talking about?
Go down to 625 South Duke Street and you can get your birth control pills or anything you need taken care of. You can get taken care of on South Duke Street. 625 South Duke Street.
Can you use your legal, constitutionally protected
Shit,
right
I can
to
go down
terminate
there.
A pregnancy?
I can go down. Listen.
If you're going to die giving birth, can you get an abortion down at 625?
Hey, if somebody's going to die giving and they have to die from giving birth, and then look, then they medically need to have an abortion.
And Lancaster,
and I don't have a problem with that.
But the problem is in a hospital.
But listen, that's not nationwide.
Just wait.
That's not the abortion. If you want a place to go, if you want a place to go to take care of this, there are places to go to take care of it.
You've got a $500
Allentown,
ticket.
Harrisburg, Allentown, Harrisburg. I don't know. She spread her fucking legs. Maybe she should have thought of that before she did that.
See, that is the problem right there, and that you just said the same.
Sarah Palin's daughter's the same fucking way. She spread her legs. She takes fucking responsibility for it.
She can afford to.
It doesn't matter. You know what? You know what?
Let's calm down.
It matters a lot as to why a lot of women
Let's
do
calm
have
down
abortions.
because us screaming at each other is not going to get listeners to listen to us. Here's something I do want to say though, and I'm going to let you guys finish. It's a good discussion. We're probably going to. Why let's take another break real quick, but. This is what I'm going to say. For the last 8 years, I have been on Facebook writing about the fact that women should have a right to choose what happens in our bodies. Well, wait, let me talk, okay? I'm the boss. I'm the boss here for now. I was so frustrated when I had adults say to me, a married woman, legally married woman, if you don't want no babies, close your effing legs. Now, why, as a married woman who chooses to not have children, who is physically afraid to have children, because I went through a bad experience when I was very, very young, why should I not have sexual relationship with my legal husband because somebody thinks they shouldn't be paying so I can have affordable birth control while I pay for them to go on maternity leave for 6 weeks.
Get your tubes tied.
Yeah, and I tried that. And no doctor in Lancaster would tie my tubes.
Then go to another doctor. Go to Allentown. Go to Harrisburg. There's doctors that'll do it here. You gotta research and find those doctors.
Okay, well that's another show, and believe me, we will come back to this. Right now, I'm being told we need to take a hard break, and it's probably all right. I'll tell you what, we're gonna take a hard break right now. You're gonna listen to some more great music. We'll come back with some final thoughts, but you know what? We will definitely be revisiting these topics next week. Let's listen to some great music by some great R&B artists, and some you are going to be hearing right here in Lancaster on February 13th at the Fairview Avenue AmVets, 715 Fairview Avenue. Again, please get your tickets. And don't forget to check in. You can hear Natty and Izzy at The Plug Friday, 3 p.m. and Venom Flow Friday at 8 p.m. So, again, just because we're not here yelling and fighting and having a great show, there's still lots of good stuff happening on DL Radio.
And Paula, I guess before we go off to break, we should just let the audience know so there's no confusion. That Friday show with Natty and Izzy. Natty, formerly known as ITAN. So we're changing my name. If you don't catch it after this, you won't know. So this is the last time my government name's gone out in the air.
Well, I hope you'll be back with us, though, with me and Dwayne again, because you're really delightful.
Well, thank you.
Please understand, I'm your man. Yeah, we fuss and we fight and we argue, and it hurts with the names that I call you. But I've been waiting for this so long, to find a girl as strong as you, with all of the wrong I do, who climbs up the mountain screaming that you're my girl. I know what you're hearing. It's the pain that you're fearing. Just need you to tell me all your feelings. It's your mind, your heart, your soul that I'm stealing. Keep sipping on that glass of wine. I promise everything's fine. Keep sipping on that glass of wine. I promise everything's fine, yo. Wait just a minute, you don't gotta leave. We can work through our differences, you and me. Don't listen to them haters, baby, listen to me. I can give you what you want and give you what you need. Tonight, tonight, tonight. Tonight, tonight, tonight. We can get away, baby. Talking you and me, we can paint the perfect picture, baby. Picture you and me. I wanna know, I just wanna know where you stand right now. Just don't count me out. Just don't feel no doubt. In a bed alone on the phone with your girl, while I text you at home and I'm out with the world. I'm looking for something, but in the end I find nothing. I'm frontin'. This time I'ma come back home. So fluff those pillows, grab another glass. No need for clothes, I'm about to put it on your ass like pow, pow, pow. Like wow, wow, wow. Then the bed breaks and my lungs take another breather. Still I'ma tell you that I love you and I need you. Wait just a minute, baby, you don't gotta leave. We can work through our differences, you and me. Don't listen to them haters, baby, listen to me. I can give you what you want and give you what you need. Tonight, tonight, tonight. Tonight, tonight, tonight. We can get away, baby. Talking you and me. We can paint the perfect picture, baby. Picture you and me. See the moments that we sharing, to the thoughts that we be clearing, and the fact that there is nothing left between you, I mean us. We need trust, leave us alone, and tell all of them lames to stop blowing up your phone. See, honestly, I love you, I hope you feel the same. We share our own thoughts, so we're just one brain. I'm looking for the future, I'm praying that the foolish gun don't shoot ya, and I'm trying to make you feel good like that good Kama Sutra, Kama Sutra. Wait just a minute, you don't gotta leave. We can work through our differences, you and me. Don't listen to them haters, baby, listen to me. I can give you what you want and give you what you need. Tonight, tonight, tonight. Tonight, tonight, tonight. We can get away, baby. Talking you and me. We can paint the perfect picture, baby. Picture you and me. Wait just a minute, you don't gotta leave. We can work through our differences. difference is you and me. Don't listen to them haters, baby, listen to me. I can give you what you want and give you what you need. Tonight, tonight, tonight. Tonight, tonight, tonight. We can get away, baby. Talking you and me. We can paint the perfect picture, baby. Picture you and me, yo. What's up, what's up? Ladies, listen, make sure you guys come out February 13th. I'm going to be in Lancaster, PA at the AMVETS. We're going to turn up. I'm also going to be doing a raffle. I'm going to be taking one lucky lady out on a date for her Valentine's Day and make sure she gets everything she deserves. Fellas, we're going to turn up as well. We're going to make some things happen. So make sure you guys come out. Shout out to DL Radio, Loud Nation in the building. Much love.
Okay, guys, I've got a treat for you, or maybe not. We're going to go a little long tonight because this conversation that we started before the break is really good, and during the break we kept talking, so we'd like to share some of our thoughts with you. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to just say one thing, and then I'm going to let Naughty and Dwayne take it because they both have differing opinions, and I kind of have agreement with both of them to a point, but here's how I feel. As far as a woman's right to choose, and I'm talking birth control, and I am talking permanent sterilization and abortion, I believe that it is the woman's right because it's her body. However, before Dwayne yells at me, if there is a relationship between a man and a woman, the man should be part of the decision. But I will say this. There are some in the Republican Party, some on the religious right, that believe that abortion, no matter what, should be illegal. And there are towns and states who are doing it behind back doors by refusing to license clinics, license doctors who perform abortions in order to make it harder for a woman, even a woman whose life is in danger by her pregnancy or who is a victim of rape. Now, Dwayne made an excellent point that if it's his child and his girlfriend or his wife, he does not want the child aborted. That should be taken into consideration. But it doesn't mean that someone who has the same opinion as Dwayne has the right to tell me and my husband, if I get pregnant, that I cannot have an abortion because he doesn't believe in it for himself and his family. And that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to let Naughty and Dwayne take it over. Go for it.
Well, firstly, Paula, you said about the Republican agenda on that, and I don't think it's just a Republican thing. The Republicans and Democrats, they're one. They're one and the same, just different names to fool the rest of us. But I don't see where the Democrats have done anything any differently. Okay, and everyone wants to think it's just the Republicans, and here I'm not for any of them, so I'm not plugging either one of those parties. Now back with Dwayne. Okay, if it's an issue between a man and a woman, the woman gets pregnant, the woman doesn't want to keep the baby, the man wants to keep the baby, it's his baby. Okay, he opposes her idea of getting an abortion. If she wants to go through with the abortion, isn't there already, or has there been, or there should be a legal precedent?
There is.
Where a man can come and file an injunction.
There is, and it has been done.
To file an injunction to keep that woman from having an abortion if he's willing to take over the life of the child.
Right. Bam.
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 That makes the difference. For in many cases, not all.
And if the woman can safely go through the pregnancy.
There you go. Now, in not all cases, but in many cases, the women get an abortion because of affordability, not because they spread their legs open or whatever. You know, forget all
the birth control
or
failed.
Exactly. But, you know, you have many instances. Okay, so you have reckless women, you have reckless men and women. That's okay, so that's a percentage of that. But you also have men and women who get together, have unprotected sex, or have sex
there's
together
a good point too,
because
because
they think they're in a relationship.
Not only women should be responsible for that. A man
exactly.
has a little thing that you can buy in any damn grocery store for 50 cents, and you can put a condom on it.
Exactly.
You put a rubber on it.
They just want to get however many women, you know, so the woman comes
But it's
back.
always like, what do you mean you got yourself pregnant?
Exactly.
Seriously,
When
I
he
did
goes
not
back
get
and says,
myself
"Listen, I'm
pregnant."
pregnant, and all of a sudden that changes the relationship.
Yeah, I didn't have no
He
turkey
abandons
baster.
her.
Yeah.
He abandons
Yeah,
her,
yeah,
and
yeah,
now
yeah.
he's left.
Yeah, or
Well,
it's not my baby. I want a paternity
what are you
test.
gonna do about it now?
Yeah,
How'd you
yeah,
get
yeah,
yourself
yeah.
pregnant? So now
All right,
she's
let's
left.
let Dwayne get in here a little bit. Go ahead, Dwayne. I mean, you're the man in the
covered
room.
it.
We're two women, but I mean, I understand your point, though. If it were your
if it was
child,
your
you would
child.
want the baby born.
But that does
But
not.
then you'd
but that
also be
doesn't-
willing to support that child too.
And that what you do in your household or how you
Is your
believe in your
business.
household is your business. But you can't come knock on the door next door and tell another family that this should be their business.
Amen.
That this should be your business too. And no matter what she did with.
But
her
isn't
life.
that what the whole liberal thing is? I mean, the whole liberal idea is telling everybody what they can and can't be, and labeling everybody. That's the liberal idea.
Wait, where are you
No, I
getting
don't
that
think
from?
that's
That's
a
not
liberal
true because the
idea.
liberals
Certainly
are
is
saying
true.
we have our right to Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court ruled that women have the right to terminate the pregnancy. Again, I'm not talking late-term abortion. I'm not talking about ripping body parts out of anybody, selling the body. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about early stage of pregnancy or in a case of rape. Again, people know they're pregnant pretty early. So these women who are saying at 6 months pregnant, they decide to get an abortion. Well, that's their stupid fault.
Right. Well, the girl
That's
and
criminal,
listen,
I believe.
listen.
That
The
is
girl,
criminal.
the girl,
That is. And it is
Listen.
criminal. It's illegal, too.
the girl that goes and takes an EPT test, okay, finds out she's pregnant, and then is completely silent to her partner and goes and gets an abortion, she should go to jail for that.
But
She
wait a
should
minute,
go
wait
to
a
jail
minute.
for
A lot
that.
of these girls that you're talking about are also underage. So here's the thing.
No, I'm not
Ignorance-
talking about
wait,
underage
wait.
girls.
But
I'm
we're
talking
talking
about.
the
I'm
abortion.
talking.
You said girls
Let's
and the
not talk
abortion
over
rate.
each other.
The abortion rate, the numbers. A lot of young girls are having abortions. So you have to give into ignorance here. You know, young kids, and that's what comes with youth is ignorance. So if you're 14 years old, you're out having sex. You're very ignorant at 14. I mean, anybody knows how to lay up. But if you're out having sex and you get pregnant and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? You know what I mean?
And it's not like your 15-year-old boyfriend is going to go out and get a $50,000, $60,000 a year job to support you either.
Or 18 or 28-year-old or whatever.
Yeah, or sometimes 30.
But again, I'm not talking
Yes,
about.
exactly.
I'm not
But
talking
we are
about.
talking about that
I'm not
because
talking
when we're
about the young
talking about-
generation.
But we
You're
are.
And
saying
no.
the father has the right to force the woman, even if he's not married to her. And see, I think this changes too when you're married. When you're married, there's a difference.
Yes.
But if my 15-year-old daughter comes home and she's pregnant by her 18-year-old boyfriend, guess what? She's getting an abortion. And his parents can fight me. He can fight me all he wants. But my daughter is not going to, my 15-year-old girl is not having a baby, period. Because you know who's going to end up taking care of that baby? Me and my husband.
Well, exactly.
I can't disagree with that.
Thank you.
But then we
disagree with
can't
that.
disagree with the fact that the sex shouldn't be happening.
Well, no, it shouldn't be. But then also, my 15-year-old
So
daughter
then you agree
would be
with
on birth
abstinence.
control.
You-
No, I agree that my 15-year-old daughter, the day she got her period, if she's 9 years old, going on birth control.
So you're telling me that 15 years old, you're okay with your daughter having sex? Really?
I would discourage it, but I'm not stupid. See, here's the
There you
problem.
go.
People are born stupid. You can't fix stupid. You're taught ignorance. I am not an ignorant person, and I'm not a stupid person, and I know you can tell kids I wasn't having sex when I was 15.
I wasn't.
But you know why? Not because I was afraid of God. I just didn't want to have sex. But today, all kids see is sex everywhere. And they see sex without consequences, which you and I have discussed.
Liberalism.
No.
Liberalism.
Now, wait a minute.
Liberalism.
Wait a minute.
Liberalism.
There is a way to make sure. Look, if you think for 1 minute, as Sarah Palin did, that you raise your children from little on up, abstinence, God loves you, do not go against God, don't have sex without having a husband. Her daughter did it twice, and she preached it. What about these kids?
Exactly.
Who don't get,
You know what the problem is, sweetheart? Seriously, you know what the problem is? The problem is that there's only 1 in 10 families preaching that.
You can't say that.
But it doesn't matter because the ones who are preaching it, their kids are the ones. Look at the Duggar family. They don't even hug each other full frontal, and their son's out banging hookers on what's its name? Ashley Madison.
Okay, so how about we talk about...
You can preach all day long, but your kids are your kids. They're out in the world without you.
How about we talk about the preachers and the ones who aren't sinning? Let's talk about that.
Wait.
What is sinning? The problem is this. If you think...
What is sinning?
If you know that... if you know that your child is a normal child, and
what's
they
normal?
Go to public school,
What's
and
normal?
They are not in a bubble in your presence every second of every day. You know what's going to happen? It might not happen. My mom never had to worry about it. I did not have sex in high school. But I am not a stupid woman to think that just because I say to my child, I didn't have sex in high school, I would prefer that you not either. But I know that in case you do, guess what? You are going on, and you're getting the Gardasil vaccine against cervical cancer too, because I had a cervical cancer scare, and if that vaccine had been available, all these religious people going, oh, don't give your kid the cervical cancer vaccine, it'll make them think they can go out and be hoes. That's bullshit. A 9-year-old does not know why they're getting a shot at the doctor's office. But if it protects them from cancer, but the religious people are like, no, cervical cancer, it's God's way of punishing you for having sex.
Well, maybe it is.
No, it's not, because there are women who were virgins on their wedding night whose husbands gave them cervical cancer because there ain't no symptoms in men.
So
They
maybe
have it,
so
and they don't know they have it.
and so maybe and who knows what the justifications are
So
for
I'm
that.
assuming you think AIDS is a scourge on homosexuals, even though babies
I'm
and women are the most prevalent.
Affected.
Women and babies are the most prevalent victims of AIDS right now. Oh, when it was just gay people getting it, oh, nobody cared about a cure. Oh, yeah, they're good. They're all dying. Great. It's God's scourge on gays. Then the Haitians and the women started getting it, and little babies, and then it's like, oh, my God, we have to do something.
Where did it start?
It started in Africa, just
No,
like
it
Ebola,
started-
from
no,
a
it-
disease from monkeys,
It started
from
from
animals.
no. Hold on. First of all, it started with the World Health Organizations and the scientists that they brought over from Nazi Germany developing these viruses. And hold on, because the truth is out there. And they found they extracted the kidneys or the livers from these particular monkeys, green monkeys, for example. And then these monkeys are found in tropical places like Haiti and Africa. Now, why are these diseases coming out of Africa mostly? Because the World Health Organization uses Africa as their testing ground for these biological warfares. Okay, so back to that. So they sent the natives to go get these monkeys because natives know how to go, get the animals, So they sent them to go get, that was part of their job to get paid. So they get these monkeys, the scientists are doing these experiments, and then they go back to the communities and say that they're given vaccinations. And that's how the African and the Haiti population ended up having the highest rate of AIDS, because they were told that they were vaccines. Just like with this Ebola virus. The Red Cross went into West Africa saying that they were given vaccinations, and they ended up being Ebola. But our media is not going to report it that way.
People purposely brought these diseases into our world.
Certainly.
It happens today. Okay, so the new trending story is the virus now that can separate one from God. Well, that must be ridiculous. No, it's not ridiculous, because our government knows what the rest of us should know, is that in your theta wave, brain waves, is your theta brain waves is what associates your belief systems, your God belief system and all that. And when you attack people on their brain waves, you can control how they think. So yes, there are these viruses, and our government is very well known for bringing the Nazi scientists, as well as developing them in our, into our country, into our institutions, and paying for these viruses. Who do they put them on? Africans. Why? Because of the dominant genes. When you can break down a dominant gene to its lowest form, then try to fix it, then you can come up with diseases and cures, and you can control the population.
Wow. You are one smart lady.
I'm not any more smart than anyone else out there
who
has
I'm
access to the
actually
same information.
part of the problem, because I saw that wonderful film, by the way, and it was a wonderful film, and The Bad Played On. I don't know if you saw it. It basically structured the history of AIDS. It's an older movie, but huge cast. And they said the actual first case of AIDS was in Germany, and it was a woman, not a gay person, but for some reason it spread over here. because diseases.
And I read
spread.
where it first started in England. That's where I read it first started from. And what they did was they took the form of leukemia and they advanced it to what we know it to be now as HIV/AIDS. And that's what it is.
Well, there is no doubt about it, though, that when AIDS was prevalent in the gay communities in the 80s, the government didn't really want to hear about it. They didn't want to do any funding to cure it. They didn't want to do anything about it until it started affecting people that, according to the government, were worthy of saving.
Okay, now here's the other thing about how it hit the gay community. All right, so the scientists behind the AIDS, right, behind the founding of the AIDS virus, many of them are actually gay, and when they get infected, and they're sleeping with other people who are gay and sleeping with other people, and that's how it ended up in the gay community. But you gotta consider the source, all right? And the source is that the people who are mostly affected because of the genetic structure, who are mostly affected by diseases, have to figure out how to cure themselves in order to keep their lifespan and the lifespan of their race. So in order to figure out how to keep their lifespan, how do you fix what's broken? Well, then you go to something that's whole and you start to break it down. When you start to break it down, you learn what it takes to break something down. When you learn what it takes to break something down, then you figure out how to fix that which is broken, piece by piece by piece. So you break down the dominant, you figure out what it takes to break down each piece of this dominant gene to where it becomes to where it becomes its recessive, its most weak at. And then when you find all that it takes, you do the reverse to figure out how to fix it. So how do you fix your recessive genes? By breaking down a dominant one and then putting it back together.
Wow. You sure you're not a doctor?
I am.
Oh, whoa.
I am. I'm a doctor of knowledge. Now, I don't claim to have complete knowledge. No. But what I do have is I have the word, the truth, and the spirit that goes out to discern truth from fiction.
Wow.
And that's what a lot of people are not doing, discerning truth from fiction. Now, they're both out there. Mm-hmm. They're both out there. It's how do you know the difference between truth and fiction? And guess what? Those who are putting out the fiction are going to stack it up so that everything you go to research it, they're going to have more fiction tales behind it. But then it has to come down to what makes sense.
Right. Wow. But yeah, and this is a very good point because, and getting back to what Dwayne was talking about with pro-choice and all that. Again, when we say I would want my children to be on birth control, you also do have to think of safe sex. And sadly, some places they don't even allow sex ed to be taught in schools at a young enough age so that children know how to protect themselves. Now, Dwayne's idea is just tell them not to do it. But
no, that's not my idea. That's not my idea. See that? No, that you nuts.
I have a 20-year-old daughter.
You said abstinence. Preach abstinence.
Listen.
You did. You just said preach abstinence. They don't need birth control. You want your 15-year-old having sex?
But wait. I have a 20-year-old. I have a 20-year-old daughter, and I believed her. Now, there are times where I didn't want to believe her, but I can't call my daughter a liar unless there's proof of it. And in her case, there wasn't any proof of her lying. But my daughter wasn't having sex at 14, 15, 16. She waited till she was 18 with the boy, next door, who's, so I was pushing for birth control, but why push it if she wasn't doing it? Why push it if she wasn't doing it and there was no evidence from her to show that she was?
Okay.
Okay, so now that she's 20,
Dwayne's turn.
Let me talk.
Party time. Excellent.
Finish my point, please. Now here at 20, guess what? I still have to tell her protection is most important now. Okay, so you weren't needing it as a teenager.
And not just for pregnancy, but for diseases.
For diseases, even if you're not worried about getting pregnant, but for diseases. So even at 20, 21, 25, you should still be using protection if you're not looking to get into a serious relationship,
or to be pregnant,
or married,
or have a child.
Exactly.
I think that's just the smart thing to do. Now,
and so yes, I successfully
the
raised one
ladies
so
in
far.
the room have sort of taken over. I feel so sorry for Dwayne. So Dwayne, we're going to give you the last word before we sign off tonight, and I say my goodbyes. So, Dwayne's time. Excellent. Go for it.
All right, look. Just because you don't agree doesn't mean, or let's not even go that direction. Just because there's no sense in not at least giving somebody the word or giving somebody the information so that they can have for themselves that, okay, look, I either want to be abstinent and I want to follow the word of God, or I want to play with the weirdos down the street here and do whatever they do and drink, party, smoke, whatever it is, and I want to worship Satan. I mean, it's either or. There's a good and there's a bad. You make your choice, and that's the end. Have a good day, guys.
And that's the democratic society that we live in.
Well, I have to disagree. It's not either or. Just because your kids, when they are, again, in that stage where they're finding themselves, they might drink, or they might smoke cigarettes, or they might smoke pot, or try cocaine, or have sex. They're not worshiping Satan. They're making mistakes. And you know what I say, and I'm going to make this the last word because we are over our time, and it's been an awesome show, and we're going to be doing this. We're going to be right back here next week, 6 p.m. You guys are going to love next week.
If you're not worshiping God, you're worshiping Satan.
That's not true.
No,
that's true. That's
No,
true.
that's not true.
And there's two
That's
against
true.
one on that.
Well, you know what? Then
That's
next
true.
week we are going to follow up on that because I do believe that, and Dwayne, you said this
There's
last
no
week.
middle.
You said that you know atheists who act like better Christians than Christians do, and yet now you're saying because they don't worship God, they're Satanists.
But wait.
What I'm saying is that they haven't
That's
found
disingenuous.
Jesus. What? No, it's not. Listen to what I'm saying.
not worshiping
Let me
anything.
finish. Let me say. Do you want to know? What I'm saying is they haven't found Jesus Christ. So therefore, they're blind. And you know what? Until their eyes are opened and they find Jesus Christ, they're going to go to hell, whether they're good people or not. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Just remember that.
And Jesus wasn't Christian, okay? There's
That's
nowhere
true.
that said he was Christian.
Jewish.
So you cannot find. No, he was not. Jewish is a political terminology. He was Hebrew. He
Okay.
was Hebrew. And his name was not Jesus. His name was Emmanuel. So we got a lot of differences there. First of all, if you're going to talk about...
The subject is all the same. The word is all the same.
God,
The subject and the word is all the
He
same.
wasn't Christian. So we're talking about a whole set of other people because Jesus was never Christian. And these ideologies that the Christians are talking about, they cannot relate to a man named Jesus. Well, they can relate to a man named Jesus because there wasn't a man named Jesus.
You haven't
That
read the
wasn't his
Bible
name.
and you don't
Oh,
know Jesus.
absolutely.
You don't know
Okay,
Jesus
okay,
Christ.
okay.
That's
Well, hold up,
absolutely, but
hold
that's
up.
for next week.
Yep. You know what? We are going to have to go. Like, we had an awesome show, though, and I really want to thank Natty for coming out here today. This
you for
was a
having
good
me.
conversation. Dwayne, as always, fabulous. Listen, you guys, remember, if you like what you're seeing, we need to hear from you. It's very important because we can't keep doing what we're doing without your support. So you need to go on, listen to our show, comment. We need to hear from you what you think about what you heard tonight, what you'd like to hear in the future. I think we already have next week's show ready for you. So, listen, you all have a good night. I want you to stay safe, stay informed. Have an awesome night tonight and a better day tomorrow. Good night, and please be careful if you're out there in the snow and the snow drifts. You know, it's not really all that safe yet, so just be safe. That's the most important. We love our listeners, and we'll see you next week. Good night, everybody. Thanks for having dinner with us.